P0715 on this Ford F150 10R80 points to the turbine shaft speed sensor circuit. The TSS is a Hall effect speed input the PCM uses to watch turbine speed, compare transmission speeds, and support converter slip and gear ratio logic. For P0715, the fault being chased is an open circuit or a short to ground in the TSS sensor circuit. When that signal has a problem, the truck may shift abnormally, set a transmission fault, or act intermittent depending on when the signal drops out. The broad fault areas can include connector condition, an open or shorted circuit, the internal transmission harness, the TSS itself, or the PCM. If other transmission codes are present, check what they mean first, but this diagnostic path stays on the P0715 TSS electrical circuit. This electrical test covers several speed sensors, but for P0715, stay on the TSS circuits only. With the ignition off, disconnect transmission vehicle harness C168A. Inspect that connector closely for damaged or pushed out terminals, corrosion, loose wires, and missing or damaged seals. Then turn the ignition on and measure C168, a pin 8 to ground. You're looking for approximately 9 volts on the suspect circuit. If that voltage is there, move on to the TSS signal return circuit. If it is not there, turn the ignition off. Disconnect PCM connector C1232T and inspect that connector the same way. Check the VREF circuit from C168A pin 8 to C1232T pin 50. If resistance is not less than 3 ohms, repair the open circuit. If it is less than 3 ohms, check C168A pin 8 to ground. If resistance is not greater than 10,000 ohms, repair the short to ground. If it is greater than 10,000 ohms, the next action is a new PCM, followed by programming and the transmission strategy download. Next, with the ignition off and PCM connector C1232T disconnected, check the TSS signal return circuit. Measure from C168, a pin 1 to C1232T pin 68. If resistance is not less than 3 ohms, repair the open circuit. If it passes, measure C168, a pin 1 to ground. If resistance is not greater than 10,000 ohms, repair the short to ground. If that passes, turn the ignition on and measure C168, a pin 1 to ground again, this time checking for voltage on the signal return. If any voltage is present, repair the short to power. If no voltage is present, the outside wiring checks have passed and the test moves inside the transmission. With the ignition off, remove the main control valve body and disconnect the TSS sensor connector C3106. Now check the internal harness VREF path from the transmission component side pin 8 to C3106 pin 2. If resistance is not less than 3 ohms, install a new transmission case wiring harness. If it passes, check transmission component side pin 8 to ground. If resistance is not greater than 10,000 ohms, install a new transmission case wiring harness. Then check the TSS signal return inside the transmission from C3106 pin 1 to the transmission component side pin 1. If resistance is not less than 3 ohms, install a new transmission case wiring harness. If it passes, check C3106 pin 1 to ground. If resistance is not greater than 10,000 ohms, install a new transmission case wiring harness. If it passes, continue to the connected circuit check. Reconnect transmission vehicle harness C168A. Then check the TSS signal return circuit with the transmission connected by measuring C3106 pin 1 to C1232T pin 68. If resistance is less than 3 ohms, continue to the final voltage check at the sensor. If it is not less than 3 ohms, treat it as a terminal fitment issue and repair any loose, damaged, or bent terminals. Reconnect PCM connector C1232T and turn the ignition on. At the TSS sensor connector, measure C3106 pin 2 to ground. If the voltage is approximately 9 volts on the suspect circuit, install a new TSS sensor. If that voltage is not there, the path points back to a terminal fitment issue, so repair any loose, damaged, or bent terminals. If a related gear ratio concern is in the mix, keep it as a separate branch from the P0715 circuit work. The shared scan tool flow is simple. Ignition on, clear all DTCs from the PCM, road test the vehicle, then retrieve all continuous memory DTCs from the PCM. If the same gear ratio fault returns, the next checks move toward clutch apply, clutch slip, always applied clutch behavior, or low one-way clutch condition for the gear involved. If it does not return, the fault is not present at that time and may be intermittent. When multiple ratio faults are present, look for a common clutch first. If that does not line up, consider a line pressure or pump pressure concern. After the identified circuit, terminal, harness, PCM, or sensor repair is completed, keep verification separate from the testing. Verify the repair and confirm P0715 stays gone before calling the job finished. The clean way through P0715 is to stay on the TSS circuit, prove VREF first, prove signal return next, and move inside the transmission only after the outside wiring checks pass. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.